Happy New Year, happy 2024. I am so excited to be here and making new content and just, seeing where everything goes. So I decided for this video that I wanted to do a reading wrap-up of sorts. I wanted to see how I did with my reading goals, how everything looked, basic info of what I did. And so I thought that'd be fun to do for the bookish side of this channel. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up Goodreads and I'm going to go through. I actually have two Goodreads accounts. I have one for all my general books and then I have another one for manga and comics. Why I separated them, I don't know, it just made sense to me personally. And I don't know, I like having the two different aspects of it. So here we'll go ahead and we will flip. We will now look at my Goodreads. Okay, so here we go. Here we have, you see my year in books. This is for my general books. So for 2023, I read 27,200 pages over the course of 122 books. I did have a goal of 100 books, and we'll get into why I kind of easily got that. But let's look at the previous year just for fun skis and see how that compared. So I read much less last year. I read only 15,622 pages over the course of 50 books. So again, much more improvement, but there is a reason why. I have a video coming out soon that I'm working on comparing all of the American Girls. So I wanted to read all those books for the first time. So that really did help kind of elevate this whole thing. So I will admit that, but they are still books. They're still entertaining. Just because they are made for children does not necessarily mean that they are bad. They should be good, and I have a lot of opinions about that. But let's see here. The shortest book I read, I believe this one is Happy Birthday, Kirsten. Yes, at 58 pages. And the longest book I read was Little Women by Louisa May Alcott at 816. This was one of those books where it was like the font was like small and the book was like really thick. So I don't think this is traditionally this big of a book, but yeah, that was my longest one. My average book length was 222 pages. I love that. I love that number. My most shelved book was Little Women. That doesn't surprise me at all, with almost 4 million people who have shelved it. And my least shelved, again, I'm also not really surprised by this one, is Meet Isabel and Nikki, which is the newest historical girls. They are from 1999. They're very Y2K-esque, with only 116 people who have shelved it. My average rating was 3.7. I still want Goodreads, for the love of everything, to just give us half-star ratings, because this is not as accurate as I think it should be. It would definitely be a lot more accurate if we were able to give half-star ratings. So, whatever. Let's see here. My highest rated on Goodreads was Viola Davis's memoir, Finding Me. That doesn't surprise me at all, with 4.57 with an average rating. My first review of the year was Paul Tremblay's book, The Cabin at the End of the World. That's because the movie came out called Knock at the Cabin by M. Night Shyamalan. It was actually filmed in my hometown. I have a video about that, so I'll link that somewhere so you can see what I thought about the movie and how it was filmed in my hometown, which I think is really fun. And I gave it 4.5 out of 5, but I round down. Usually when I give it 4.5, I round up. So I don't know what I was thinking this time. But just a quick look at books. A lot at the beginning of the year, I read a lot of memoirs, as we can see here, from Viola Davis to David Sheff, Alan Rickman, Tom Felton. Again, we start seeing some of those American Girl books. This was the year I really did read a lot of American Girl books. There's the Josefina collection right here. I love this book so much. One of my favorites of all time. Let's see here. More memoirs, more American Girl. Not surprised there. I remember this is around June-ish time. That sounds familiar. This book was so funny. I highly recommend. I watched Veep for the first time this past year, and I absolutely loved it. So I do recommend the show, but I also recommend listening to this book on audio, because Julia Louise-Dreyfus and oh my gosh, I can't remember the actor's name, but who plays Gary. They like have like a back and forth as Selena and Gary, and it is so funny. I highly, highly, highly recommend the audiobook. Yep, lots of American Girl. The Addie series, I'm going to go into this more in depth, but I hadn't read it before, and it is amazing. Amazing. Don't know why people don't read it. Go through, yes, beautiful, wonderful. Again, a lot of memoirs coming out. Some of the books for the Interstellar book club, like Certain Dark Things. Love that. Go through. Again, a lot of nonfiction, a lot of American Girl. Oh, we got to show more. Again, you can see how that 122 number was very much padded by these American Girl books. And I did set a new goal of reading 100 books this year. Will I accomplish that? I don't know. Because I don't have the backup of American Girl. Who knows? This one was really interesting, Psychology of Zelda. That was like an Audible original, I believe. And so I really did enjoy that. But yeah, this is how I ended up. My last review of the year was Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. I am currently reading the third one right now, The Winners. And I'm loving the series. It's my first time with Frederick Bachman. So it doesn't surprise me that this was my last one. And yeah, so that is my review, year in review for all of my regular books. Now I'm going to log in to my other account, my manga and Goodreads account, or my manga and comics account, and we'll see how that one compares. All right, so here we go. Here's my Goodreads for my manga and comics. I have had a goal of 150 books. Don't know why I did that to myself, but I did anyway. So let's see. Alrighty, so here is my year in books for my manga and comics. So here, I still did pretty good. Like, I read not as many pages, obviously, because some books are, like, traditional novels are much bigger than manga, but I did read 19,282 pages across 113 books. This actually did not meet my goal. I wanted to try to read 125 manga and comics. I did hit a little bit of a slump, but I'm not going to let that discourage me. Having goals is fun, looking forward to completing something, but I don't take it too seriously. Like, I'm not completely bummed out about it. Like, I'm like, I didn't hit it, but oh well. Why I decided to do 25 extra books? Don't know. But that's what the fun about this is. Alrighty, so let's take a look. My shortest book read was The Tea Dragon Society. I loved these books. I read all 3 of them this year. Adorable little series. Very, very fun. Definitely want to read again. But that one was the shortest one at 60 pages. And then my longest one was 442 with I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, which I did completely pick up at like Barnes & Noble one time solely for the name. And it's heartbreaking. It is so sad. But read it anyway. It's so good. All right. So my average book length in 2023 was 170 pages. Love that. My most shelved was Saga Volume 1. That doesn't surprise me. I also really got into Saga this year, and it is so good. I think I need to continue it. I think I've read all of the published ones, or at least I've read up to 10, 11? We'll see here, I guess. But that has been shelved by 584,890 people. Whereas Pokemon Sword and Shield Volume 7 has only been shelved by 33 people, which doesn't surprise me. I read a lot of Pokemon this year, too. Because I want to try to read the mangas and then watch the anime, but I'm also behind on the Pokemon anime, but I've also caught up on My Hero Academia for the manga, so I'm going to need to watch that anime, too. I'm just so behind. My average rating for 2023 was 3.9, so that's 0.2 higher than what I had for my novels. And the highest rated on Goodreads was Yona of the Dawn Volume 30, which had an average star rating of 4.72. My first review of the year was Yona of the Dawn Volume 11. That's because I don't really leave a whole lot of reviews. I don't do a lot of 0.5s when it comes to manga. I don't know why. I should, because one, well, Goodreads should just have that option anyway, so I don't know why they don't. But 5.5 out of 5, love that. All right, so let's see, what did I read this year? So I read Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Platinum. I read all of that arc. I also read George R.R. Martin, A Game of Thrones. I read all of those books, or it was just the first book, but in graphic novel format, which I feel like if you're intimidated by the books because they can be big and there is a lot of information there, I do recommend reading these graphic novels, especially if you were a fan of the show, a fan of the series. I think that it's a really great way to get introduced to high fantasy in a book format. And then maybe after you read the graphic novel, maybe then you want to go and transition and read the actual book itself. Or you just want to stick with the graphic novel, that's fine too. I judge not. All right. Then, like I said, I read all of the Saga books, so there they are, along with the Tea Dragon books, so Tea Dragon Society, Tea Dragon Festival, and Tea Dragon Tapestry. Let's see here. So here's still Pokemon Platinum or Diamond Pearl Platinum. After I finished that, it then went on to Pokemon Adventures Heart Gold Soul Silver. So I read that whole one. And then as we can see here, again, all of these sagas. So let's see here. That goes up to 10. Is this one 11? No, that's 9. So after Heart Gold Soul Silver, I then read Pokemon Adventures Black and White. I also read this cute graphic novel of I Will Judge Your Bookshelf. Absolutely love that. Highly recommend it. So Black and White. Again, I finished up with some My Hero Academia. I also read this graphic novel called My Brain is Different, which I think was really fun and interesting way to look at ADHD and other kind of developmental disorders. After Black and White, I then had Pokemon Adventures X and Y, so we dove into those. I then also found these books. I don't know where. I don't remember if I just saw them or if it was like recommended on like BookTube or something, but it's like these Stitch and the Samurai, which I thought was fascinating. So I read all 3 of those as well. After X and Y, I then read Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire for Pokemon Adventure. So I read all those books. And then I also finally got to read Mouse. And I don't know why people want to ban this. It's so good. It is so good. It is so sad, so good. I just... And then, of course, I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. Love that. After the Omegas, we then got into Sun and Moon, so I read those. More Sun and Moon, which then brought us into Sword and Shield. And I didn't really get back into the Pokemon games, like playing them, until Sword and Shield. When that came out for the Switch, that was one of the things I got during like the COVID times. And so it was fun to like follow along with the story and actually kind of know like what they were talking about and things like that. So I really enjoyed that. Again, My Hero Academia. And then I started Yona of the Dawn, and that is what I'm actually currently reading right now. I am currently on volume 31, I want to say. Let's see here, show more books. Yep, this is all just Yona of the Dawn now. Yeah, my last one was volume 30, so I'm currently reading 31. My last review of the year, volume 13 from Yona of the Dawn with a 3.5 out of 5. Again, I don't know why I don't really give 0.5s out, but that was it. And then, of course, my reading challenge, like I said, I read 113 books, but that's what I read, but I wanted to try to read 125. I just had more confidence in myself that I'm not going to fall into as much of a slump as I did before, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Alrighty, so that is my reading year in review. Like I said, I want to try to read 100 traditional novels or any kind of book, and then 150 graphic novels, comics, manga, things like that. I'll have both of these linked down below if you want to follow me and join me along on my reading journey for the year of 2024. Also, let me know what your goals are. I'm really curious to see like what people do. I love it. If your goal is to read 1 book, fabulous. If your goal is to read 1,000 books, wonderful, awesome. You do you. I just like doing these. I think it's fun. If you have no goal, that's fine too. If you're just here to read for fun, I love that. I'm looking forward to trying to build up. I know I say this at the beginning of like every year, but I'm trying to plan better and have more content coming on both a bookish side and a movie side. My next video is actually going to be a very similar one where I basically stop this recording and then start a new one looking at my Letterboxd and films in review. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So bookish content, movie-ish content will be coming to you in the year of 2024, and I am so excited for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, keep on gabbing.